So I saw this maybe a couple. This was posted about a couple days ago, and I didn't see it until today. But some of you guys wanted me to do a basically something similar to what I did with the Tellurizer, which is give a general build for Yorktown 2. Now I'm not gonna do this for every single ship because I already have like general builds or what's considered like good guns to use on most ships. So I'm not gonna do that for every single ship. I could do that for YouTube content, but that's gonna take way too long and that's gonna take a lot of effort. Not to mention some of those ships that you guys want me to make videos for. Unless there's like a big reason to use those ships, I'm probably not gonna use those ships. So I just toss on regular gear for them, level them up. But Yorktown 2, though, is pretty big ship, so we're gonna talk about her. Anyways, though, general builds for Yorktown 2. Now we're gonna split this up in maybe 5 categories. General usage, World 12 and 13, light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor bosses. I think that's the best way to split this up because it's gonna be multiple scenarios where this ship is going to be good. Now, I'm not going to talk about PvP because that is an entirely different ball game. Now, she could be good PvP there, but I doubt it because PvP right now is really tight on evasion and stuff. So have fun with that. Not to mention she's good on light and medium armor, and that's not really the best armor typing. Well, it's good for vanguards, I guess, but like it's not like the best when it comes to like dealing backlines. So yeah. Anyways, though, general builds and stuff for Yorktown 2. Now, when it comes to general builds, you can't go wrong with a generic fighter, dive bomber, and torpedo bomber setup. Now, if you guys don't have any parallel bombers, you can get them from like Royal Navy boxes, the gold ones. But generally, if you guys want to do a very simplistic build, this is a very easy build to get. You can get the planes from the event, Havar planes, and Douglas AD Sky Raiders are from the event. Parallel bombers comes from Royal Navy boxes. Otherwise, if you guys have wyverns, get them from that as well too. You guys can also craft the Douglas bombers from Gear Labs as well too, which is, I believe, parallel torpedo bombers for USS. There's also a scenario that you can do as well too if you want to do that. Otherwise, though, you can't go wrong with this build. Now, if you want to do a little mix up, you can definitely do a dive bomber build as well too, which is basically a fighter and double dive bomber slot. Now the damage isn't as accurate, but it can still work and suffice for the time being until you guys get better planes to use. Now I can find where my gold helldiver is, so I'll just use purple ones. So the purple ones are fine. Like you guys can do double dive bombers as well too. Again, this is for general usage, not for bossing. So for like campaign, event farming, if you want to do something like this can definitely work. I would keep homing beacon on here until you find a more proper usage for York 2 because she wants to airstrike a lot for damage. And using the Sky Raiders makes her very slow. Even though she has a pretty good reload speed for a carrier, she's pretty slow. So I toss homing beacon on her until there's a more better use for her for like bossing and stuff. But this is kind of what I would probably use for general content. Just more wave clearing, AoE. Going double Havar planes means that you have more focus on light armor, which is okay, but there's less AoE. So either another dive bomber or another torpedo bomber, whichever you guys want to. I'll probably just go with like wyverns or something, toss it on here, and then we have a good to go build. Like, find it, not that one. Yeah, so I'll probably run something like that, even though it's pretty slow. I'll run something like that. Now, when it comes to World 12 and 13, this is where the fun part begins. Now, if you guys are gonna run her for World 12 and 13. Corsairs is pretty much a must-have. So let's go to Albion's plane, take that. You get this from core datas for 700 cores, I think, or 800 cores. Grab those. This is pretty much your anti-air plane. Very good. And then for the last slot, if you want to go full anti-air control, get another fighter plane that has anti-air stuff like a regular Hellcat, not the Havar one, a regular Hellcat. Another Corsair could work if you aren't tight on those. That can definitely work. But definitely, if you guys want more anti-air control, Hellcats or Corsairs are definitely a way to go. Now, there are some scenarios as well too. Where you can use like the French torpedo bombers or the Wyverns, because these also intercept planes in the air as well too. Excuse me. Oh my god, my throat's like messed up right now. But these have a special skill which makes this so these planes do intercept, so it counts as like fighter planes. So it's really good for anti-air. So there's also another scenario that can work with anti-air right here, very good. Or you run just double fighters and then just call it days. Like for example, if I want to run a Hellcat, boom, full anti-air control, has some damage on light and medium armor as well too. Very good. This is probably what I would run for full World 12 and 13 clear. Now, bossing stuff, light armor. Bossing for light armor, definitely you want the Havar planes here. So let's go over here. Let's slap these on. 2 of these is what I would recommend running if you guys have 2 of them. I told you guys to farm a lot for a reason. This is probably the best in slot you can run as of right now. Now, you can run a second steam catapult if you want to, but it's going to be pretty slow, but you could work with it. But this is what you want to run for maximum light armor damage when it comes to bosses like Arbiter Temperance, Helena Meta, 14-3 boss. These kind of bosses is where you want to run this build, and it's going to do a significant amount of damage to those targets. So a lot of light armor damage to mods. You guys can tell right here, light armor right there, and then you guys go over here, also light armor mods right here, 140 on both of them. This is going to do a lot of damage to light armor. Trust, this is going to be in massacre when it comes to light armor content. Now when it comes to medium armor content, what you want to do is drop out the Havar planes. You want to go to AP rockets, so these things right here, go over here as well too. And then we toss in another AP rocket. So this right here is also going to do a big chunk to medium armor damage as well too. Double AP rockets. You swap these off from Havars to AP rockets. Same thing. You still have the USS plane for her buff, which is which one is it? Was it this one or is it this one right here? Yeah, we have Sky Raiders or USS planes or something like that. Aircraft. You have the Sky Raiders. Still works in medium armor. Does big damage to medium armor as well too. So both light and medium armor targets, very easy for Yorktown 2 to just dish out a lot of damage. Very easy. Now medium armor is a bit of a stretch. Not the best. York 2 is not the best when it comes to heavy armor, but she can work with it, but it's just she doesn't excel on heavy armor as much as she would on light and medium armor. So it's kind of scary there. Regardless though, what you want to run for just heavy armor stuff is Tiger Cats or Flapjacks. You need that because you're going to trade off the Sky Raiders for another damage dealing dive bomber. So Hell Divers are solid because Hell Divers mods right here are more excelled towards heavy armor. Whereas if we go over here, the last bomb here is 110, which is kind of whatever on heavy armor, but the rockets for Havars are just 50. These are absolutely awful. So Hell Divers is what you want to run. I would probably use 10 Rise. So let's say I toss on a 10 Rise right here, boom. So 10 Rise or Hell Divers right there, and then the last one is going to be converging bombers. So like either Ryuseis or the Junkers. I'm going to use Ryuseis right now because I got to swap off my Arizona meta fleet. I don't want to. So you probably run something like this. Now keep in mind this is a very slow setup. You have 10 Rise and Ryuseis here, so I would definitely recommend using this. Unless you want to run this with the IJN twins, then you could probably use a steam catapult. It's going to be a very slow build. That's fine. But just keep in mind though that you have to use Tiger Cats because these bombs do damage to heavy armor, at least a decent amount. But you also get that USS plane. Because 10 Rise, Ryuseis, Junkers, Hell Divers. Well, Hell Divers work, but 10 Rise does more damage. So if you guys have Hell Divers here, you can trade off the torpedo, the fighter slot if you want to, just a little bit like Seahorn or something. But Tiger Cats, Sea Hornets, Flapjacks all pretty much have the same damage when it comes to heavy armor. So it doesn't matter what you pick out of those 3. Just have a USS plane right here. then Helldivers or Tenrais, whatever you guys want. And then Junkers or Ryuseis for the Torpedo Bomber slot. And that's how you deal with heavy armor. So that's my quick TLDR for you guys for York 2 builds. Overall, very easy. Pretty much the dive bomber slot never leaves Sky Raiders unless you're doing heavy armor. But everything else though, the first and third slot gets trade off a lot. Okay. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. Feel free to leave more comments about whatever you guys want for York 2 builds, but for the most part though, very easy, very simplistic, nothing that difficult. If you guys have AP rockets, you guys have Havara planes, your build is pretty much good to go. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching as always. Happy 2023, and I will see you guys in the next video.